5 years ago, I investigated an Israeli propaganda app that turned harassing people speaking against the genocide in Palestine into a game with a leaderboard and everything. The app's main purpose was to astroturf their way into silencing anyone against the regime through dogpiling, harassment, or boycotting their business alongside accusations of antisemitism. I organized a campaign in that video and created a website with instructions on how to report the app, as it is against App Store policy to promote activity like harassment, and thankfully, quite a lot of people did report it, though I'm sure most of the total reports had nothing to do with my investigation. The app was taken down, but I've kept an eye on their socials and web presence since then, which is how I figured out that they were in the early stages of bringing it back, and why I decided to cover this again before they started attacking people, so that if they do, people are ready to prevent their sick harassment campaigns again. And a month ago, the new app was launched, but we'll get back to that in a moment. The original app was called ACT.IL, and its purpose was to direct people to flag, report, and reply to nearly every criticism of Israel. The app functioned as a means of astroturfing, organized and deceptive government-backed public relations activity that falsely creates the impression of an organic and spontaneous grassroots campaign. These harassment campaigns were effective because they would tell people where to respond, what to respond with, as well as offer a bunch of pre-made memes and talking points. And in true fashion, they were unhinged enough to make it into a little game. This is how it worked. The app would refresh a few times a day with new missions. A mission might be signing a petition against a company that posted in solidarity with injured or killed Palestinians, accusing them of antisemitism for speaking against Israel's actions. Or it could be a link to a video showing the IDF indiscriminately killing civilians, with a template of what you should reply with to discredit both the source of the video and the victims themselves. Maybe you download one of their memes about human shields or why it's okay to bomb a hospital and post that. By completing missions and dogpiling whatever random person they wanted to silence or attack, users would earn points, unlock badges, and get their points added to their score, which is ranked on a leaderboard. When my original investigation was happening, it was still the case that support for Israel was more often framed as a progressive stance, and any opposition to Israel was seen as right-wing anti-Semitism. Over the last few years, that illusion has begun to dissipate, but obviously not entirely. And this is because the state of Israel and the think tanks built to uphold it are often both very adept at maintaining that illusion of victimhood and working really hard at it. Many of these think tanks are professional propagandists, and for years now, Israel has led a massive propaganda, disinformation, and harassment campaign coordinated through the media, social media, and smartphone apps. Let's check out what you would see when you first opened ACT.IL. There's a welcome video, which is just incredibly chilling in its bubbly, excited tone.
Hi everyone, I'm Maya, and I'm here to welcome you to ACT.IL, the first pro-Israeli grassroots online movement.
It's not grassroots if it's a government think tank telling you what to do. That's not grassroots. Maya, you know this.
There are many groups that try to delegitimize Israel online. And now, you will have the tools to counter their efforts right in the palm of your hand. We're going to show you how, by using the ACT.IL app, anyone can become an activist for Israel, anywhere, at any time. Welcome to the ACT.IL app! Now, time for action! When you open the app, you will be directed straight to the home page where you will have two ways of reviewing the missions. You can either scroll through all of them on the mission tab, or choose your missions according to different platforms. When clicking on a mission, a description about the specific mission will show up, where you can learn more about the action needed.
So you go through and they have a bunch of different social media platforms with active missions, and a mission is to report or reply to a post. So there might be a mission with a link to a tweet, and it'll say, report post for comparing an incomparable situation, which I'm not going to lie is not one of the options on Twitter's reporting system.
If you see a mission and think, hey wow, I didn't know that, I want to learn more, you can just click on our new feature, Fact.IL Library, where you can find additional information about Israel for you to be better informed. How cool!
Some of the reporting missions on there were, of course, legitimate anti-Semitism, mainly right-wing anti-Jewish conspiracy theories, but the bulk of it was solely focused on propagating and perpetuating a Zionist agenda. I'll always report an anti-Semitic post on social media. There's nothing wrong with directing people to do the same. But let's have a look at some of the content that they were claiming was anti-Semitism. Here's a bag on Redbubble that calls for the dissolution of Israel. It reads, "Make Israel Palestine again." The mission was to report it on redbubble.com, and ACT.IL gave you a pretty detailed description on how to sign up on Redbubble, where exactly you need to go to click report, what to report it for, and then what to type in for the reasons for the report. You could also see all the other participants who had done this mission as well. Once you'd completed one of these missions, you rewarded points, which put you up on the leaderboard and unlocked badges. I did not earn any badges during my investigation except for joining the WhatsApp group so I could get notifications of posts they were trying to target in real time. So that's me, Lasagna Ravioli, and these are my badges. I'm a terrible Zionist, as it turns out. You can see some of these people are acting like this was their full-time job. Jeff Perry over here, he has all sorts of badges. Look at all this stuff that this guy's doing. I wonder how many tweets documenting crimes and killings were taken down because of these people. I'm going to be real, I'm not sure how you would not feel sick playing this game. How detached do you have to be from the reality of this situation to make a game out of this? To award cute little badges like App Master, Super Scribe, the Stalwart Socialized Bronze Badge. Now, as I said, I make a terrible Zionist, mostly because I'm the opposite of one, but especially because I use the app to do the opposite of what it was intended for. Namely, I would reply to the targeted post with something like, "Hey, just a heads up, your post is being targeted by the Israel Action Group." I actually did get a response to some of those tweets from users of the app, presumably, and they found old tweets of mine and replied with the usual homophobic talking points. Turkeys and Xmas spring to mind. "Shame on you for siding with homophobic jihadists. You're a disgrace to the LGBT community." And then there's like a chicken for KFC sign. They always pull this talking point with me, and they're so smug thinking they made an actual point, but they haven't. My solidarity with people not being bombed in a hospital is not dependent on whether or not some of the people in it might be homophobic. I don't care. There are homophobic people in every single hospital on the planet. There is no contradiction in my beliefs, as chickens for KFC would imply. There's a reason they need poorly constructed analogies to make their points. Because I guess a meme with a human with a sign that said, "Oppressed against oppression," doesn't hit in the same way. These are clearly people that believe that the sole reason they fight for the expansion of human rights is that it might benefit them personally. But you should value human rights intrinsically for all people simply because all people deserve them, because all people deserve freedom, autonomy, and happiness. So when people like Bill Maher get on national television and make gleeful jokes about pro-Palestine artist Chapel Roan being thrown off a roof in Gaza for being gay, something there's no record of ever happening in Gaza, by the way, that doesn't actually point to our position being incoherent. It only demonstrates their depravity and maliciousness. And that's the disconnect for them, I guess. They really do believe that indiscriminate killing is perfectly acceptable if you happen to hate the people dying. And I guess people like that would find an app like ACT.IL extremely helpful to channel that hatred and malice. Because while looking through the app, I was startled by how organized and streamlined it was, and how long it had been in operation. They put in a lot of money, time, and research into making this as easy as possible to funnel mass reports, harassment, and misinformation to the masses on social media. Often the misinformation came in the form of memes.
How cool!
You could go to the propaganda page of the app and choose, for example, Gaza, and then subheading civilian casualty, and then open up to the meme section. Here's an example. Hamas uses mosques as terrorist facilities. For Hamas, nothing is sacred. Of course, they're not concerned because this claim implies for Hamas, nothing is sacred. The purpose is to excuse Israel raiding or bombing mosques, because if it's not sacred to them, why should it be too sacred to bomb when it's filled with humans? The disconnect there is that these people don't understand that human life is also considered sacred, no matter what building they're in. ACT.IL had a canned talking point for everything, which empowered every single person to easily spread it around with almost no knowledge of their own. Where does Hamas hide its weapons? Schools, hospitals, houses, mosques. Hamas uses residential areas as terror sites. Of course, they don't include any evidence, there's no source, there's no anything. It's just infographics, memes, the same memes I've seen under tweets that they said to report. It's so clear that it's astroturfing once you know how the app works and the content of it. The app itself, ACT.IL, was linked to one of Israel's propaganda arms, the Ministry of Strategic Affairs, which pays news organizations to publish articles linking Palestinian liberation to antisemitism. The Israeli cyber unit monitors Palestinian content and then asks the social media giants to remove it. How many of these were triggered by the ACT.IL mass reporting and harassment systems? I celebrated when ACT.IL was taken down, but not for a second did I believe it wouldn't return in another iteration. I did think, however, that they'd be a little bit better at hiding the rebranding when it did return. And it has. ACT.IL has been resurrected as RiseApp. I'll just say right off the bat that when you launch your new app, you might want to clear out the media folder on your repurposed Facebook page. Both because the ACT.IL branding is still there, but also because it's evidence that your app is not about uplifting Jewish voices, but mocking marginalized people and Palestinian voices. RiseApp appears to be in the very early stages of release, but don't you worry, the first thing you see when opening the app are crass memes mocking people standing against the genocide, usually extremely right-wing ones targeting anyone that presents as queer. With a hashtag Jewish humor.
Yeah, tell me what you want.
Oh, this is a skater skirt. Collar from a cake market. Some earrings from a Free Palestine market. Free Palestine.
This is like my Iranian Republic of Iran robe, just to show solidarity. I actually made it myself. I have this little design here. It stands for freaking cool kids have missing sock. That's what's up. Gotta rock the keffiyeh and the H-band, because they just work together in solidarity. Brings out my hips as well. I don't go anywhere without my noise-canceling headphones, because just in case a Zionist wants to say something logical, I put these on. And I don't hear a word that they say, for example, say something.
You're yelling.
Say something.
You're yelling.
Say something.
You're yelling!
Dude, freaking harsh. I'm right here. Collar I got from Petco because all the other places were on the boycott list. Just to remind me that all the places that I support would probably enslave me. So it's super sentimental. No better way to support a fake genocide than wearing a fake Rolex, okay? What time is it? Not logic!
You can also keep up with what some of the worst Zionists in Hollywood are doing. Like Michael Rappaport, mostly now known for his unhinged social media rants more than any acting he's ever done.
You hear that shit, right? Can you hear that shit? Do you hear it or no? You hear the shit. Where's the fucking apartheid? The fucking prayers in Israel, the apartheid state of Israel. I hear the fucking prayers. Where's the fucking apartheid? Where is it? You hear that shit, right? Zofran, Zohan, Zoran, whatever your name is. You think that you're gonna come in here with your smiley face? You think you're gonna become mayor of New York City on my watch? I guarantee you ain't gonna win. Zoran, Zofran, whatever the I guarantee, there is no way. I'm gonna bet money on it. There is no way this guy will become mayor of New York City.
If you want to find out info about hot topics like why Zionists think queer people are idiots, you can click right through and find a full page of straw man arguments to bolster that claim. The app itself serves in part to deny the existence of the genocide, to deny the deaths, the pain, and the suffering of Palestinians. This is all content that existed on the original app, and this one has placeholders for what they call activism and advocacy as well. But seeing as the app launched a month ago, as of my writing this, it's still largely empty. I had wrestled with whether or not to wait to report on the rebrand of ACT.IL until I had examples of their new harassment campaigns, but that only allows those people to get dogpiled without support when it happens. So I'm talking about it now, in hopes that if it starts up again, more people are monitoring it. I'm sure some already are, but I don't know them, and I can't find any posts about it. I'm just one extremely tired person with very limited bandwidth, and this app likely has significant financial backing from both government and private sources, which allows for sustained, multi-layered campaigns that can quickly dominate online discourse and shape public perception. The danger of these campaigns lies in their ability to manipulate discourse and obscure documented human rights violations and violations of international law. By flooding information spaces with misleading context, selective framing, or outright fabrications, these operations can sometimes neutralize factual reporting from journalists, human rights organizations, and eyewitnesses on the ground. The campaigns often exploit legitimate concerns about antisemitism to deflect criticism of Israeli government policies, deliberately conflating opposition to specific state actions with bigotry against Jewish people, a tactic that restricts legitimate political debate and makes it difficult for unaware but well-intentioned observers to determine facts. Over the last 5 years, quite a few people have asked me to update my original video now that the app had been taken down, but it didn't make sense for me to do that until there was cause for concern, which I believe there now is. Attached to this video also is a fundraiser for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. If you can donate to that as opposed to leaving a super chat or signing up to my Patreon, I'd much prefer that. The PCRF was founded in 1991 by concerned humanitarians in the USA, provides free medical care to thousands of injured and ill children yearly who lack local access to care within the local healthcare system. They sent over 2,000 affected children abroad for free medical care, sent thousands of international doctors and nurses to provide tens of thousands of children free medical care in local hospitals, and provided tens of thousands of children humanitarian aid and support they would not otherwise get. The PCRF's impact also includes establishing 2 pediatric cancer departments in Palestine and many more critical projects to sustainably bolster the region's healthcare system. Unlike ACT.IL, their foundation relies on actual grassroots efforts, supported by a worldwide network of thousands of volunteers. If you want to donate to that and join my Patreon, though, I'm currently working on a few investigations, so if you want to follow along with those and get secret information, not available anywhere else, you can sign up for a membership on my Patreon or YouTube, where you can also get ad-free videos. You see everything happening live on my members' Discord. Yeah. Sharing the video, even to your own email, tells YouTube that this video is worth watching and maybe shouldn't be suppressed. So I don't do that hype thing or like and subscribe so people can see this. Dope. I'll probably just sit here so I don't have to make an end screen.
This whole crap with this cancel culture and the...
Shut up! Nobody wants to hear it.
Fucker.
You've been talking all fucking week.
You got me right in my fucking head, asshole.
Stop.
Damn it.
I probably should have been counting.